Hello, today we're going to make a pheasant and potato curry. It's very cold outside and so I thought I'd make something nice and warming. So for this, what we're going to need is some small diced onions, and there's yellow and red pepper there. We're going to need some large diced onions, red and yellow pepper. We need 1.5 teaspoons of gram masala, 1 teaspoon of cumin, ½ teaspoon of turmeric, 1 tablespoon of curry powder, this one's mild, 2 tablespoons of plain flour, 160 mils of coconut cream, 600 mils of chicken stock, salt and pepper, 3 pheasant breasts diced into about inch dice, some diced potatoes. I've rinsed the starch off these, some chopped tomatoes, some vegetable oil and some chilli paste, and I'll show you how to make that here. In a NutriBullet or a blender, put 2 square inches of fresh ginger, 1 large red chilli, 6 cloves of garlic and a good handful of fresh coriander, half a mug of water. Don't worry about this amount because it will reduce down, and then a couple of tablespoons of vegetable oil. We're then going to blend it up until it's in like a paste. Let's see. And that's how you make your paste. Okay, so we're going to get cooking. Okay, so onto the pheasant, we're just going to crack some black pepper and some sea salt. Okay, so what we're going to do first is we're going to, on a medium to high heat, add a couple of tablespoons of oil, and then what we're going to do is we're going to quickly just seal off the pheasant. Okay, so the pheasant's been sealed off, so I'm going to just get rid of some of the oil, clean it off, and just put this to one side until we're ready to use it again. Okay, I've turned the heat down a little bit now, and I'm going to go in with the small diced peppers and onions. Okay, and we're just going to cook these until the onions go transparent. The reason that I have some small diced and some bigger diced is because the small diced one is purely for flavour, and the larger diced one I'm just going to fry off towards the end and add that just so we've got something that's nice and colourful. Okay, so these onions are starting to go transparent now, so we'll just turn it down a little bit, and then we're going to add the spice. So we're going to add the ½ teaspoon of turmeric, teaspoon and a half of gram masala, teaspoon of cumin, 1 tablespoon of curry powder, Okay, I'm going to give it a good mix. You don't want the heat too high because we don't want the spice to burn, but we do need it to cook out properly. So we're just going to keep this on a kind of low to medium heat, and it's probably going to take about 5 minutes or so to kind of cook out properly. If you need to add a little bit of oil, I think I'm going to add about another teaspoon here, just help cook the spice out properly. Don't be afraid to do it, just don't use gallons obviously, because you end up with a really greasy curry at the end of it, which we don't want. Okay, so now I'm going to add the potato, and these are cut into inch cubes. The potatoes are raw, so we're putting them in now with the spice to give them a nice little bit of colour, and also to help them start cooking a little bit. So now we're going to add the flour, and then we need to then let the flour cook out as well. If you don't give it enough time to cook out, then you'll actually taste the flour in your curry. It'll taste all kind of bitty, which is not what we want. So keep it on a low heat, kind of keep it moving. What the flour does as well is it obviously thickens the sauce up a little bit, but any kind of any fat that you had in the pan is going to be soaked up by the oil. Okay, so the flour is nearly cooked out now, so you can see it's just starting to catch on the bottom. It's not burnt, it's just catching. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the heat off, take it off the heat for a few minutes. Going to add the chicken stock into it, give it a really good stir, and then what you'll find is if you leave it off the heat 2 to 3 minutes, where it was on the bottom of the pan, it will just stir right off. Okay, so I've given it 2 minutes, and as you can see the bottom of the pan's clear, so that's fantastic. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put the heat back on, just on low, and then we're going to add our mixture. This will give you a lot of flavour. This is the base to a lot of curries actually, so you'll find that in a lot of curries, and it packs so much flavour in. Yummy scrummy. So now I'm going to give it some black pepper, some salt, the coconut cream, and also the chopped tomatoes. Okay, so this sauce is going to simmer for about an hour. Try not to let it boil, and if you do think it's thickening up a bit too quick, then drop the heat down a little bit and you can add some water. The water will always evaporate, and it will also help cook the potatoes, so if you need to add a little bit of water, don't be afraid of doing so. Okay, so this has been simmering now for probably about an hour and a quarter actually, so the sauce has reduced by about half. The potatoes are kind of, they're cooked, so what we're going to do is we're going to add the pheasant, and we're also going to add the large diced peppers and onions. Okay, give it a quick stir. Okay, so I'm going to give that about another half hour to carry on cooking. Okay, this has had another half hour. The pheasant's cooked all the way through, and the peppers and onions are also nicely cooked. So all we're going to do is just finish it off with a handful of fresh coriander, and then I'm going to serve it with some lime and coriander rice, and a garlic and coriander naan bread. Okay, it's finished. So the pheasant's cooked through, and you've got lots of lovely flavours, and it's not too spicy, just right for Lisa. So obviously if you want to add a bit more spice, just put a bit more chilli in. You can cook this with any birds really, any other game, chicken. So, but the longer you can leave it cooking really, the better. So like and subscribe.
Won't you